I know, it's been more than a month and we haven't driven it yet. About time we changed all that. Wait, what? The brakes need doing? Really? Front pads are gone. Well, thankfully it's quite easy to see the wear and tear on the rear ones. You can actually see the pads and they're fine as usual. It's always usually the fronts that go. So we'll be looking at how we take the brakes off, and we're going to be doing it this side because it's in the shade and it's bloody hot out here, and unfortunately I've got to take it off just to find out what the brake pads look like, because this car, I think it's kind of the base model, but it seems to have some upgrade package on the brakes, so I don't know whether they're the standard ones or the other ones. We'll find out. So there's your jacking point at the front, just about there underneath. Right, jacked up on the stand, wheel off. It looks like these are the squarer front brake pads, which are indeed the upgraded package. We're just going to take them off just to make sure. And as per the Ghibli, they're these kind of bolts. So we're going to need some of these. And it's the E20 that you're going to need. As per the Ghibli, they are on rock solid. So WD is required. We'll let that soak in for a while and then get back. Well, despite copious soakage with WD-40 and various extensions on the socket, I couldn't shift them. I guess I'm not as tough as I used to be. So it's off to the shop with those, but I did manage to identify the calipers, and they're actually the base models, so I think the upgrade package was just the red calipers. Whoopie-doo. Meanwhile, turns out none of our local like car workshops wanted to touch the Mazda. Yes, because it's a Maserati, and their advice was take it to the dealership in Scottsdale or sell it. Thank you. So I decided to invest in one of these, which I probably should have done ages ago. Yes. A brushless impact wrench, good for something like £1,000 of torque. I can't believe it. We will find out, obviously. It's a 1/2 inch drive, and I bought the appropriate E20 doofer for a 1/2 inch drive, and a shorter one somewhere there, I think. Yeah, just in case we need a short one. So I guess I'm having another go myself. What fun. One day I'll get to drive the bloody thing. Maybe. Just in case you're wondering, that's why we're doing it in the garage, because it's probably only 94 in there. Alright, let's do this. Yes indeed, big old boat. Anyway, got the wheel off, finally. So the lug nuts are supposed to be 17s, and they kind of are, but it's really tight to get the socket on. 18's too big, There's no kind of imperial size, somewhere between the two, and they get stuck obviously in the socket, so you have to bang them out. All that pain in the arse. Anyway, so far this is pretty cool. Let's see if it works on these boys. Well, as you can see, the bottom one eventually came out. Top one, not so much. Well, a lot of banging with hammers, removing the extension from the torque wrench, and finally the bloody thing came loose. So clearly they weld themselves onto the face of the fitting, and I'm wondering about putting some kind of rubber grommet in when I put them back on. I'm not sure. Might be an idea there. Also give those threads a bit of a clean up. They're probably not helping. So these are a bit of a fiddle to get off. Basically you have to squeeze these in, and that releases the catches that go in those holes there. Using our friend the big ass screwdriver just to lever the caliper away from the disc. And on the driver's side you're going to want to disconnect the sensor there, so you can pull the caliper away, and then find something of a suitable height so you can rest the caliper on it, so it's not dangling off its brake line. Then you just lever this away with a flat blade and a little tap with a hammer. Somebody deemed it necessary to stick it in place. As you can see, the brake warning light does come on. It does give you a reasonable amount of time, but there's not much meat left on those when you compare it to the new set. Again, the driver's side is the one with the sensor there, just fits in there, so make sure you put the right one on the right side. Check that out first, because normally if there's a 50-50 situation I put the wrong one on to start with, so do check that. I've left the rear pad in place so that we can squeeze back the calipers with a G-clamp or a C-clamp, whatever you want to call it, one of these. So of course none of these are big enough, are they? No. So just a short trip to O'Reilly's, back in a minute. Right, that should do the trick. You probably noticed that one of the calipers has these doofers on the back side of it. They actually clip into the pistons there, so you just prise those out with a flat blade again. Now that they're pushed back, that's the old sensor gone. Final squeeze with G-clamp just to get the pistons nice and flush for the new pads, which are obviously thicker. I actually used the GC clamp to put new pads in, just to pop those springs inside the cylinders, just easier. And I cleaned it all up a little bit. Yeah. Just so you know, that little sensor cable feeds out through there, and then we'll connect it back up to that and put it back on its little mount over there. Right, one side done. I won't bore you with the other one, it should be simpler. There's no sensor, it's just a question of whether those bolts come undone again, isn't it? Thanks for watching. I'm not going to tell you how long this took me, because it's kind of embarrassing, honestly. Although the other side, the bolts came off easier, that required a little bit of modification. Yeah, the Brembo bakes didn't quite fit. We had to bring out Mr. Kawasaki. Got there in the end, as usual. Not the 5-minute job it's supposed to be. Well, no, I mean, I'd allow an hour per set. Probably do it in half that if you don't have any problems, but of course you're gonna. So, as usual, thanks for watching. If you thought the video was any good, give it a thumbs up, subscribe down here somewhere, and of course encourage others to watch my lunacy.